Fireworks and fires set in confrontation between a crowd and the police on the streets of West Belfast this evening. The trouble tonight follows unrest in the same area last night. The worst they'd seen in years, said the police, before describing perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the rioting.
What we saw was a mixture of young people and adults, but there were certainly some children present who we would assess as being as young as 13 or 14, who were encouraged and supported by adults who stood by and clapped and cheered.
The police have been very clear about the nature of the violence here in Belfast. They say it has been orchestrated and that members of paramilitary groups have been involved. The violence unfolds amid loyalist anger about a Brexit deal which they say cuts them off from the rest of the United Kingdom.
They've left us in Europe and in the UK at the same time, and the difficulty for that for unionist people is that we've been left with no representation in Europe. We're going to be represented by a foreign power.
But the police have said this morning, pointed out how many young people are involved in this unrest, and very young people, 12, 13, 14-year-olds. What do they know really about the details of the Northern Irish Protocol?
Well, I don't think that they do, but what they do know about is people here don't have a stake in society, and they don't feel they're represented by the politicians.
Another politician arrived in Belfast today, the Northern Ireland Secretary, here for emergency talks with the main political parties.
Adults who are encouraging children to take up activity that's going to damage them for the rest of their lives in terms of their opportunities, at a time where we should be looking at investment and inward investment, an exciting time for Northern Ireland's economy and the opportunities that it has, is beyond dreadful.
The Stormont Assembly was recalled from its Easter recess this morning, and the leaders of Northern Ireland's power-sharing government were agreed on the dangers of young people being recruited into an old conflict.
We cannot allow a new generation of our young people to fall victim to that path or be preyed upon by some who prefer the shadows to the light.
It's only through democratic politics that we can solve our problems and concerns, and call on those organising young people to engage in violence to stop, and to those young people themselves to call on them to exercise restraint.
The message from the politicians has been consistent. Dialogue is the way to settle disputes. But for all the talking that's been done today, there's no sign yet that the violence will stop. Geraint Vincent, News at 10, Belfast.